This is the help video for the lab, the student investigation glacial sea ice. So you're going to calculate the mass of ice of various glaciers, and you're going to compare that ice from pictures in the past to pictures of the present. And you're going to determine whether or not it has been shrinking or growing. Then you're going to use your graphing skills to graph your data, all 5 different glaciers on one graph. And yes, you are doing 5 different glaciers. There are tons of them. If you want to see these in color, the first thing I want to tell you is that there is a link down here to see them in color. I know black and white might make it difficult to tell where the ice is, so they're here in color. So you're going to pick whatever 5 you want. Let's say you choose this one. So as the directions say, you are going to choose a glacier, which we just did. Then you're going to get graph paper and trace the amount of ice in the photograph from the past. So you're going to lay your graph paper on top of this picture on your desk, or if you wanted to, you could do it on your Chromebook since it's lit up. And you're going to trace out, as best you can, how much ice you see in that glacier. Okay? So since I can't really do that and show you digitally, let's just say this glacier, I'll do it on here. Let's say on your graph paper, the glacier looks kind of like, say there's about this much. I think I saw some up on that little hill on the side. Some over here, some here. After you do that, you're going to calculate how much ice. We're just going to use a general number. These are not absolutely correct, but we're just using this so that we can practice this skill. So 1 square on the directions it says equals 1 square meter of ice. All right. So you're going to have to kind of estimate. You want to count. For the past image, now this image is from 1910. So we got 1910. We'll say that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that looks like pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. About 15 for sure. So 9 times 15, we're going to go with 135 plus, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I could say like these 3 maybe is another one. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, let's say 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 36. Let's just say plus 36. So total, I'm going to estimate a little bit. We got about 171 meters squared of ice in the past picture. All right. Then what you're going to do is you're going to look at the same one, the Grinnell Glacier. You're going to look at it in the present, and you're going to repeat that. And if you do that, just the way I did the other one, let's say you came up with that it is about, so in 1910, it was 171 meters squared. And then the new image is 2016. And let's just say when I did it, after I did it, I figured out that it was about 50 meters squared. Cool. You determined that the difference, it went from 171 to 50, and so it shrunk by about 121 square meters. So what you're going to do is on your worksheet, what I would highly suggest you do is on your worksheet, you'll put the name. So this one was the Grinnell Glacier, if I recall. Now the past C amount, I'm going to put the date. So it was from, I'm cold. It was from 1910 to 2016. Is that Grinnell? Yeah. 1910 to 2016. So I should put 1910. And it was 171 meters squared. And I'm going to put 2016 just to help me. And let's say it was 50 meters squared. So what was the overall change? Well, it was negative 121 meters squared. So I'm going to put that here. It's negative 121 because it decreased by that much. It went from this much to this much. Now, if there's a positive number here, that means that it would increase. You're going to repeat that for 4 more glaciers, just like that. You might have to get a new piece of graph paper and redo it. But then when you are all done, what you're going to do is you're going to graph it. So I'll show you how you would do that. Let me do this real quick. Get rid of all this stuff. Actually use this graph paper as an image taken from your project. So there we go. We have a graph. Now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to name the graph. I'm going to call mine like Glacial Retreat over time. Because we're going to be plotting the time versus the glacial volume. Now you can turn your paper, so I'm writing glacial volume like this, but I highly recommend you write it so it's easier to read, glacial volume. Now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to determine where your date is going to start and end and where your glacial volume is going to start and end. That's going to be specific to your data. Now if we look, there's some of these glaciers from 38, 1910. There's one from 1901. Yeah, this one over here. So whatever you have, you first have to finish your data table here. Then you determine for your own unique data where you're going to start your time and your glacial volume. If I was just going to do my own, if I was just going to put this one here, then I would say I'd start at 1910 to 2016. So I'm going to say that, let's say it's 1900, 1910. Well, I guess I got to count, right? 1910 to 16 is like about 110 years. So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 1, 2, 3, 24. So 110 years divided by 24 blocks will be about 4.58 per block. So I'm going to make each about 5 years. So I could do, since it started, my first picture was 1910. I'm going to start it at, let's say this is 1910. That's 15. And this is 1920, 25, 1930, 35, 1940, 45, 1950. 55, 1960, 1965, 1970, 1975, 1980, 1985, 1990, 1995, 2000, 2010, 2015, 2020. So I'm going to plot it. Now I have to determine my y-axis. So it's always going to, I'll start here for my y-axis. Let's say this starts at 0. And I have to go all the way up to 171. So how do I do that? Well, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 171 divided by 15 is 11. So I'll do mine by, let's say, 12. 0 to 12. Make sure we put meters squared there too so we know what the glacial volume is measured in. 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96, 108, 120, 132, 144, 156, 168, 180. And then we will plot it. In 1910, I had 171. And put that about right here. And then in 2016, I had 50. So here's 2010, 15, so 16 over here. So it's about 48, about right here. And then what you can do, mine is going to be terrible. You can get a ruler and just draw a line. Woo! And then make sure you add a key over here. So since this line, this data is black, I'll just say that the black line here equals, what was my glacier called? Grimmel. Grimmel. And then when you do another glacier, you can use a different color. And let's say that one you started in 1920 and it was here and it ended here. The last picture was in 2000 and it ended here. And then you'll have all of your 5 glaciers plotted on the same graph. Then in your key, you put that the yellow equals, let's say it was the Pillar Glacier. All right. But most importantly, before you make your graph, you really do have to make sure that you have all of your data done. That way you can decide what years you want to put on the x-axis and what volumes of glacier ice you're going to put on the y-axis. If you need help, call me over.